Welcome back to Generative AI Live. My name is Brian Terry, and we are here at live at reInvent 2024. And I'm here with my good friend, Rory. I'll let her introduce herself.
I'm Rory Richardson. I'm the Director of Go-to-Market for Amazon Q Developer. Super excited about all the great announcements that we made this morning, and there's more to come.
Absolutely. And today we're going to be talking to Gabriel. He's the head of AWS Business Unit. So I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here, Brian. I am the Global AWS Practice Director and head of the AWS Business Unit for Compass UOL. And again, happy to be here.
Oh, super excited.
Can you tell us a little bit what the heck is Compass?
Yeah, sure. So Compass is a system integrator and now becoming an ISV for the AWS partnership that is based in San Francisco. We started working in Brazil and then moved to the US and now all over Latin America, providing AI transformation to our customers.
Awesome. I mean, that is super cool. So, what has been your most exciting part about reInvent so far? I know it's only been like a day, but...
There's so much happening in one day, right?
Yeah.
So, I believe the things that were presented today by Matt Garman is quite connected to what I'm going to talk more here on how generative AI is transforming the software engineering industry.
Yeah.
And I believe this is something that is quite interesting for us to discuss more.
Absolutely. I'm interested in just diving deep into that. So let's talk a little bit about generative AI and software engineering. So how is generative AI like revolutionizing like software engineering, and where is that going in the future?
Yeah, let's paint the context a little bit. If you understand that companies that don't have digital modern solutions won't be able to keep up with the pace of the market and adapt to what is coming, they will probably become irrelevant at some point in the market. In that I believe it will happen in all the industries. I'm not talking about IT in specialty, but as a whole. So it's important for these companies to start providing solutions faster. It is important for them to modernize what they have so they can provide better features for their customers. And I understand that generative AI, as much as it's still starting to provide return of investment, it's helping us to tip the balance on the software delivery lifecycle and in the modernization to provide these features faster and then provide a better experience to their customers.
So when it comes to like your day job,
you know, by my night job.
well, how are you guys like augmenting the experience for software development, and then what's your vision of where that's going to go?
Yeah, sure. Let me tell a story that will think it will.
I love stories.
Yes.
That will frame what I want to say better. We've been working with a lot of banks and financial sector companies for the past a year and a half on top of their most challenging situation, that is, how do they modernize their mainframes? Because let's go back to that. Companies like these banks that operate with a huge amount of workloads on mainframe, they take so much time to provide new features to their customers that they are having a really hard time coming from digital banks that are so much faster in doing so. So what we're doing here is we created this platform, this product called AI Cockpit, soon to be available in the next couple of weeks on AWS Marketplace, but it's already tested in the field with these banks, with a couple of dozens of companies, where it's providing 50 to 60% on efficiency gain on moving from mainframe to a modern architecture in cloud.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And how does it tackle that problem?
So when you make things easier, faster, and cheaper to move things to the cloud, to modernize your architectures, you actually are turning these projects feasible. Because when you look at mainframe modernization, and I will quote what Matt Garman just said on his keynote, this is quite a challenge, right? And there's no like one magic button that will shift everything to the cloud and have it all done. But if you reduce the amount of effort, the amount of cost, the amount of time that you're taking to do so, then now it's actually possible to do in a much smaller time frame, and you start actually to see the results as your customers experience a better service.
So when you're thinking about planning, how important is your partnership with AWS? Because, I mean, like the last thing you want is a surprise.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's quite important. Everything that we've been doing in the past, I don't know, 7, 8 years, moves around what we do in our partnership with AWS. What AWS is providing to us, like, for example, our whole structure, our whole platform runs on top of AWS services and AWS AI technologies. And the support that we're receiving from AWS teams on R&D technologies, go-to-market, this is what's helping us actually grow in the pace that we need to grow.
So you're the plus one to, well, what AWS builds?
Yeah, definitely. I would say everybody talks about the 1 + 1 = 3, right? But I like to think of that more as 1 + 1 = 100 or 1,000, because we need to be exponential on the value that we're generating.
Yeah.
And the way that I see how we are positioning ourselves on bringing now not just our services, but our platforms to AWS Marketplace is a way to get even more connected to the AWS ecosystem and to the AWS whole network.
Man, this is super interesting stuff. I mean, it's all moving so fast. I can remember 18 months ago when generative AI was really hot with just chatbots. People were trying to figure out, what do you do with this technology? And here we're like using generative AI to like move mainframes and write code. This is interesting stuff.
Yeah, and when you think about this challenge, this is not something for tomorrow. This is right now. If we don't start getting our services better, and I mean not just Compass or AWS or technology, I mean all industries, we're going to become irrelevant to those that will actually do this, right? So when we created AI Cockpit, what we wanted to do is exactly that, how we provide all this knowledge on top of AI to accelerate this for every company. Not just what I'm talking about, banks and mainframe, but every company. And by the way, if we have a space here, I wanted to show a little bit more of how AI Cockpit actually operates. We have a video that we can provide. We'll show some details because just introducing real quick, it's important at this time that we're still validating the returns of generative AI in the market to have well-validated value generated, right? And this is what we have with AI Cockpit. It's already tested in the field. Like I said, it's not theoretical. Wow. So I want to show more about how it works. So what you're seeing in the screen, this is COBOL code from Car Demo from AWS. What our platform does, it's not translating COBOL code or Clipper code or PHP or whatever legacy code you might have to Java or React. What it actually does is understands the code, writes all the business and technical documentation, and from it, it designs a new application from the scratch.
Wow.
This is what it does.
That's super interesting.
You can see how it operates. AI Cockpit is operating as a plugin to VS Code because we want to be closer to the developer, right? The developer needs to feel like this is a tool that will not disrupt the way they think, but it will actually increase their capability of delivering value faster. So once they are connected, you're seeing how the codes were submitted and we're generating all the documentations. It will create the user stories on Jira or whatever tool you're using. This is fully integrated. So every developer will receive what they need to work on. They will receive the user stories. And on top of that, AI Cockpit will generate the code so they can start their work. So they will be able to curate the Java code and build whatever new functionalities is needed to do so, as you can see.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love the idea of it combining or at least having the developer in the loop of the process of this whole migration, right? It doesn't leave them out to say, oh, it's just going to generate the code and everything's going to work, but it actually puts them in a place to make it great.
We don't want to replace developers, right? We want to make them become super developers.
Yeah.
This is much more interesting. You don't want to remove the human from the process because this is quite important. You just want to take out of him everything, or from them, everything that is not like fun to do.
Muck.
Yeah, exactly.
Muck. And there's so much muck in your day-to-day life as a developer that you spend time in Jira tickets and unnecessary code reviews if you don't have a way to just clean up muck. And honestly, a lot of the muck gets delegated to the lowest man on the totem pole when it comes to like the noobs getting the biggest chunk of the muck. So we're finding like it's kind of a huge leveling agent between folks that are early career, they're new, and some of the master builders that actually have, 10, 20 years experience, is they're able to get closer because a lot of that low-level baseline muck is now automated and generated by tools.
Exactly, because it's not fun being that person, right?
No.
It's not fun. We all have been that person. Everyone that worked with software development have been that person, and it's not fun.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of getting someone a coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So can you share any like real world impacts or examples where you've helped customers with their transformations?
Yeah, for sure. Again, if we talk about the banks that we're working, and it's important to say it doesn't work only with banks.
Right.
But when you are connected to an industry that you have the know-how of the line of business, it helps a lot on delivering more value. And financial sector is one of our main capabilities. So when we work with some of the banks that we were working in South America, and again, they're experiencing 50 to 60% increase in efficiency on migrating to the cloud, their mainframe applications. We have examples. I don't know really how it works with banks in the US, the example I will give, but I think it's pretty much the same. You log into your account using your bank account number and a PIN or something. Digital banks are moving from this to now you can log in with your social security number because it's way easier. You already know their number.
Right.
For the old bank to move from one
identification system
exactly to another, it took them like months to do so.
Yeah.
Now it's taking them like 1 or 2 weeks.
Really? Identity's hard. To be honest, like I find identity to be the cornerstone of generative AI, like how you're setting up governance or permissions. Like identity's tough, and it's not changing as fast as the generative AI. So to be able to ease that pain, that's huge.
And it should, right? Because it's what connects us as human beings. It's our identity.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things you don't want to muck with. I mean, that's a high-stakes game.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does the future hold for you guys? If you were imagining where your organization's going to be, like a year or two from now, like paint me a picture of where your North Star is.
Yeah, at this point, we are pretty known as a professional services company in South America and starting to build our credentials in the US. What I see from 1 or 2 years from now is not just being seen as a professional service company, but actually a strong ISV that provides not just the knowledge, but the tools for AI transformation for our customers. This is where I'm seeing Compass heading.
Well, what about when you run out of mainframes?
I'm never going to do that.
Oh, come on.
We're quite far from that, but you don't see AI Cockpit just as a mainframe modernization tool. What it does is accelerating the whole process of creating digital products.
Yeah.
So once you have modernized everything you have, or part of it, it also helps you goes from designing your business all the way to the end of having your code in the cloud
Yeah.
much faster.
I have a question for you about that,
sure.
the modernization. So when we talk about modernization, or at least code modernization, we're going from one language to another. What are some of the most popular languages companies want to get to when they modernize their current languages?
We've seen pretty much all the modernizations that we're doing are going to always Java, right? Like still Java.
Still Java.
A lot of React. And a couple of companies are trying to go to not so traditional languages like Go or Ruby or Python.
Wait, you've seen financial customers want to Go?
Hey, I'm a Go guy.
Yeah.
I see why.
No offense, you ain't a bank.
I know it's hard to believe,
Sorry, Go guys.
but it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Not too much, but it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
At
cool.
least you didn't say Rust.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Rust guy.
I'm surrounded
hit
by
us
Go
all.
on one side and Rust on the other. I tell you, I wrote COBOL in college.
Come on.
I like function-based languages.
Hey, that's what Go is.
Sort of.
You know, I have a friend that says that Rust is like C++ if it was done right.
I heard that about Go.
Now we have entered the developer smack talk section of Generative AI Live. And for those of you who aren't hardcore developers, this is every party I've ever gone to with a developer.
Yeah. Pretty
Ever.
Very nice.
Yeah, and this is the danger I talked about. You have to be flexible. Like, I love Go, but I can't say it's the right way to do things for rest and here time to go. You have to be flexible, right? So,
Exactly. Because, and going back to the generative AI part,
yeah.
generative AI is not a silver bullet that will solve all the problems. Like Go, Rust, or whatever programming language you're using, there's not just one right answer. It's important to have options and combine them to provide the best results for each given scenario. And AI Cockpit is just one of them, and it uses several different LLMs that runs on top of Bedrock to provide different combinations that will give you better results generally.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Really good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to scoop us up because we got to get ready for our next guest. Gabriel, thank you so much for spending time with us. This has been absolutely fascinating, talking about the application side of how you are practically seeing the results in software engineering and transformation. Wish you the best of luck in spreading the word and the transformation in the U.S. and other markets. Thank you very much for coming to see us. And up next, we have Arvind, the CEO from Glean. So stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.